All right, welcome back to week 2 of How to Be a Great Parent. So last week we zoomed out and we asked this question. We asked, what is the actual goal of being a great parent? And we discovered that it's not just to make sure that they behave or to keep them out of trouble, but the primary goal of being a great parent is actually to raise kids with great character. Kids who know right from wrong, who love God. Kids who want to serve God, love God, and show it by how they treat others. And look, I know we all want to get to the nuts and bolts of how to raise great kids, and we're going to get to those how-tos in future sessions. But before we get to that, I want to lay a little bit more foundation and really talk about the culture of your home, because it's going to shape your child. In other words, how do your kids see you pray, love, have fun? How do they see you argue and apologize? And how do they see your priorities actually play out in your life? Because all of that shapes their hearts. Our parenting starts way before we say, go to your room, because their home, your home, is their classroom. It forms how they see the world. And here's the deal, your kids, they're learning from you all the time. Even when you're not trying to teach them, they're still learning from you. They're learning from how you talk to your spouse, how you handle stress, how you treat the waitress when she messes up your order. You know, that's all part of their training. You see, our children, they pick up on the tone of our home, not just the rules of our home. So if you want your kids to grow up with peace, love, respect for others, respect for you, that actually has to start with us. And for those of you that are married, the hard truth is that your marriage preaches louder than your parenting. Your kids, they're watching how you talk to each other, how you forgive each other, how you prioritize each other. They're learning what love looks like in your home. They're learning what respect sounds like in your home, what conflict resolution feels like. They're learning it in your home. And one of the best gifts that you can give your kids is a healthy, God-centered marriage. And if you're single, if you're a single parent, it means that how they see you treat others is a part of your parenting. How you talk about others, what they hear you say on the phone, all that is a part of training their heart. It means how you prioritize God or church. Listen, it's all training their hearts from the inside out. And how you train their hearts will last. It's more important than the rules that you give them or how you discipline is how you train their heart. And listen, once again, it doesn't mean you have to be perfect. It just means that we can teach them what we know. I said this last week, but we are going to reproduce who we are. And you can't give what you don't have. You can't pass on peace if you don't have peace. You can't teach self-control if you're running on fumes and frustration. That's why parenting starts with the parent. Because being a great parent, it starts with us. We've got to be anchored in God's Word. We've got to model the very things that we want to see in them. You want your kids to be patient? Let them see patience in you. You want them to pray? Let them hear you praying. You know, if you want them to value God's Word, then let them catch you reading it, not just quoting it at them when they make a mistake. Or maybe if you still have infants, it's easy to think that, well, they don't understand all this yet, so I'll get it together later. It's easy to think that if you fight in front of them, that it's not affecting them. And maybe they don't understand the words at that age, but I'm telling you, they're already observing or absorbing the culture that you're setting in your home. Studies say that because children are absorbing so much as infants, the first few years of a child's life are actually the most important when determining the outlook of their life. Studies actually say that the child's environment in the first year of life explains around 10% of their later ability. In other words, from a neurological and developmental standpoint, children who experience safe, stable, nurturing environments, especially in infancy, they develop stronger emotional regulation, a secure outlook in life, resilience against stress in their life. And so the culture of your home, it not only shapes their heart, but it also helps build the brain architecture that supports long-term well-being in them. And this is what that means. Your child's outlook on life, spiritually, emotionally, even mentally, not only comes from you, but it even begins in infancy and then solidifies during their early childhood. So here's the challenge this week. I want you to look at your home through your child's eyes. What are they feeling? What are they soaking in? What's the tone that they feel in your home? What are they really learning about relationships, about faith, about emotional safety? And look, if you're not happy with where you're at right now, don't let that question make you feel ashamed. Let it fuel your growth. You don't need to be perfect. None of us are. We just need to be honest about ourselves and be willing to grow for a kid's sake. That is what God honors. That is what your kids are going to remember.